Welcome to the F&O show. This is Meena Nalwala. We both will take you through all the action in the F&O markets. Agam, it is a relatively flat morning. We're eyeing expiry tomorrow, but no fireworks expected between now and then.
I guess not, but it doesn't mean that we may not have any volatility, because the way things have panned out at the moment, well, we do know that, on an intraday basis yesterday, there were very, very sharp moves towards the upside as well as the downside, and it's not very different today either. Well, the whole idea behind the fact that there could be consolidation, it's not.
Both seeing some action. We'll of course talk about that in more detail with Ajit Mishra, who's joining in, and Ashish Kayal. Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Ajit, I'll come to you first. We're eyeing expiry tomorrow. It's a quiet morning on the street, and Feb has actually been a pretty good series as well. Historically, Feb has a seasonality factor where we've sold off, but this Feb is different. How would you trade expiry now?
Good morning, Meena, and good morning, Agam. So, you rightly mentioned that the past data says that we usually see profit taking, but it's no different, considering that the kind of gains that we have made so far. It's more of like consolidation. The good part is that here we are holding the record highs. We are respecting the short-term averages on every dip. So in a way it is positive, but at the same time, we have not been observing any kind of momentum in the market. So, if somebody has to take any decisive call that whether we are going to see 20,500 first or 21,900 first, that seems difficult. But as long as we are holding above these short-term averages, 21,900, the prudent approach is to stick with the market trend and look for buying opportunity on the dips. And 22,000, 22,550 is the zone basically where we have the strong base now. So that's the area basically where one should look for buying opportunities, with 300, 500 being the upper targets. And for the expiry also, I feel that's going to be a muted one, considering the kind of action that we are seeing with the tussle around 22,200 in the Nifty. Yes, the outlier could be the movement in the banking, because banking is also holding the short-term averages, and at the same time we have not seen any major participation from the banking majors. So in case if something happens on that front, then it might result in a quick move towards 22,400, 500 zone. Otherwise it's going to be a muted session, expiry session.
Okay, well, there you have it. That's the view on the Nifty. Keeping an eye on 21,900. That is perhaps the level at which you may want to transfer your risk elsewhere.
It closed above 47,000, and it's largely been an underperformance compared to the benchmark itself. Are you expecting a little bit of a catch-up here? How would you trade Bank Nifty?
Certainly, Samina. So as like you mentioned that the banking index is also holding the short-term averages, though you have rightly mentioned that the attempt to hold and sustain 47,000 mark multiple times, we have seen selling pressure coming in. But as long as we are holding above 46,300, I feel that one should continue with buy on dips approach in the banking also. And once we manage to hold 47, then we have a major gap to fill, that we have on the daily charts. So 47,800, 900 could be the positional targets. So yes, the risk reward is comparatively favorable if we talk about banking. But at the same time, if you see the performance of the private banking majors, Amina, so that is the challenging part, because we are not seeing the alignment. So one day we are seeing Axis and ICICI doing well, and Kotak, SDFC, IndusInd Bank, they are really under pressure. And the other day equation changes, but largely it remains the same, that 2 or 3 counters are witnessing a bit of a profit taking on every alternate day. So until we see the alignment within the private banking majors, which holds considerable weight in the index, I doubt that there will be going to be any meaningful move. So one should keep a close eye on these top 4-5 names for clues on the next probable momentum in the banking index.
Okay, so Ajit did make a mention on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Ashish, if you could come in on that one, because this one has been a perplexing one among the private sector banks. While we have seen a lot of strength, Kotak Mahindra Bank has not seen.
Sir, you've picked up HAL as a buy call this morning, and we've seen BDL move quite sharply in the last few days. BEML also tried to do that big move over the last couple of days, and HAL this morning is looking like it's higher. What is the trade? A long call there?
Yes, Amina. So within the defense basket, like, HAL, the BDL, VEL, they all are like, gaining traction at the same time. And HAL is comparatively stronger structure because we have spent, considerable time around the record highs with negligible price action. So it's a tighter range, and with today's breakout, we feel that 3270 immediate target, and positionally it could, inch toward 3400 levels or maybe higher. So this is one candidate that from the defense basket that one can look at, and your stop should be at 3095 for the fresh trade.
Right. Anything else? I think Indigo as well, Ajit. You got a trade on that one.
And in fact, just 2 sessions ago, it made a new life high. But yesterday we had a broken node, and because of that, we saw a little bit of weakness. And now it does seem like it's moved into a bit of consolidation, so to speak. No, it's not been a very long time. Still, at the moment, the question really is, what do you do with Dexon? If you keep the fundamentals aside, how are technicals looking? Ajit, this one is for you. What's your view here?
So, we have recently made a new record high post forming a base around the previous, record high zone. So it's definitely a positive, considering that we have pivot in place and the risk to reward is still favorable. If somebody is holding long also, then 65.30 is the area basically where we have multiple supports. So as long as we are holding above this mark, I feel that the only challenging part that I see in this, recent dip is that the volume have increased substantially. So one needs to be strict with the stop losses, the 63.50, 63.30, 65.30. But once we see a catch-up move or day of reversal in this stock, the probable target could be much higher. So maybe 7,400, 7,600 is something that is on the card. So the risk reward is still favorable. So yes, one can continue to hold the longs. Fresh longs, one should wait for a reversal candle.
And Ajit and Ashish, thank you very much for joining us. Indigo, HAL are some of the big bets that Ajit has, and of course, even Ashish quite constructive on HAL this morning, and also Max Financial Services. We'll take a break, but thank you for joining us. On the other side, we will be talking to a PSU defense major, Midani, who joins in on the other side to talk to us about the earnings that went by a couple of weeks ago in Business Outlook.